Hey everybody, welcome back to another soon-to-be exciting and classic edition of Homestead Friends and Awesomeness, and we are here with the one, the only Linda's Pantry. Yay! How are you today, Linda?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
I am jazzed, and I got to tell you what, I've played in a band for a long time, got to fly everywhere, meet everybody, and this is really just a lot of fun to be chatting with somebody that I've learned so much from in terms of all your cooking stuff, your preservation, your canning, and that we started watching your channel long before we started in preparedness or any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, I wonder what it would be like to can food. And you've always been there.
Yeah. When I stumbled across YouTube, because my TV in the family room went out, and my daughter was moving out of the area, and I said, God, I can't even watch the Food Network while I'm cooking, because, we inspire each other. And she goes, go on YouTube and look up whatever you want. So I was playing around with it, and I actually went on there, and I stumbled across a couple prepping channels. And I'm like, what's prepping? I didn't understand it. And I was like, that's weird, because that's me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it.
That is crazy.
Like, oh.
So now you've been doing the YouTube thing for quite a while, since 2011, right?
Yep. Wow. July 4th weekend was my first upload, and as a channel, you guys know as well as anybody else out there that does these things, you evolve. It's hard for me to watch older videos because I go, oh. But
so now,
you evolve and you change and you grow, and yeah, it's been a really great journey. I love it.
Well, now talking about the YouTube kind of experience, have you noticed any major changes since 2011? Is the community of people changing? What have you seen?
I've seen that the prepper craze, I think because Nat Geo did all that stuff, I think that it put a negative connotation attached to it. And people think you're weird or whatever. When I say I can something, people go, why would you do that? Or, oh my God, I never heard of that. When you say canned meat, and I go, you've never seen canned chicken in the store? Well, yeah, but not, and then they go, oh.
It was the canning fairy. The canning fairy puts it there.
Exactly. So I think people have a hard time wrapping their brain around it because they haven't been exposed to it prior. Right. So I think a lot of the preppers fell out of the whole community and kind of did what you guys are doing, homesteading, and that's really what it's all about, taking care of yourself and being in charge of what your family consumes and how you do things and everything else. I just choose to do it the way I've always been doing it.
That is awesome. Now, I know that you've got a lot of videos on processing your own meat, and you guys are a hunting family. So take me through, if I am, Johnny Greenhorn, take me through what you're going to need. What does it look like to actually process a deer?
Well, first you start with the field processing. After you've harvested, you've got to get the animal cooled down, and depending on whether it's late summer, because bow hunting is in the late summer and it can be hot. So you've got to get the skin off of it and get let's see, a deer is easier than an elk. Even Indians didn't really hunt elk very much because the meat would sour so fast because like the shoulder bone is so huge, you couldn't get the meat cooled down. So if it's hot and we're worried about getting it cooled down, we'll actually bone it right out in the field. So you're going to need good knives, and they aren't expensive. That we've found that the least, these little Victorinox knives that we use. Let's see.
Show and tell time. She's down. Somebody call 911.
Where'd she go?
We've lost you. We've lost you.
Yeah, a shot of the heads on the.
Well, anyways, they're just a little paring knife, and they stay very sharp. You can skin a whole deer with one. So, and then my husband packs everything. He packs a bone saw just in case. And we have just quartered them, but we always get that hide off of them, get that meat cooled down, put them in. You're going to need game bags, and then depending on back at camp, whether it's cool enough to let it hang in camp or you've got to find a cooler. So the last couple of years, we've been able to use just right in camp, hang our meat, and then go home when we wanted to. And then we always let it age, so you have to have space when you get home. We turn the garage refrigerator into a hazmat unit and just clean it all off and hang the meat in there until it's aged long enough, and then I start processing.
Well, what is aging? Because I honestly don't know what that means.
Okay, well, and this is something that a lot of people don't know. When you go to a steakhouse and you get a dry aged steak, that flavor of that beef, exactly, this is probably why, because the flavor of the beef is so concentrated. And some of those steaks can be aged up to 60 days. Now that you go, oh, what? What happens as soon as the animal dies, the process of the tissue is breaking down. So as long as you keep the bacteria at bay, those flavors become concentrated. Beef that you buy in the grocery store has been aged 28 days before it ever hits the grocery store. Otherwise, you can't chew it. It's too tough because it's a solid muscle. Right. So on a deer, we will age up to 2 weeks, but usually at a week, we're pretty good to go. And then on an elk, it's definitely 2 weeks. If you don't age it, you have to age the meat when you pull it out of the freezer and thaw it out.
Well, now, how do you keep the bacteria? How do you keep the bacteria at bay?
Refrigeration. And so when we hang it, you're hanging it and it gets a glaze on the outside around it. And if you've watched those videos, you're cutting that dark, hard glaze off. If you go above 40 degrees, then you can grow mold and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, it's if you don't age it, you can tell the difference. It's tough.
I never knew any of that. Interesting. That's really
that
awesome.
is. Now, how long does that process take? Because like you guys have been doing it a lot. So if you're pretty efficient at it, what kind of time are you looking at?
In the field?
Yeah.
In the field for a deer, you're looking at, if 2 people are working on it, about an hour to get done. And then processing time, I usually take a couple afternoons for a deer, maybe 3. Because some of it I save out for steak, some of it I stew, grind meat, that kind of thing. And elk, that can take hours. It's a big animal. It's like taking your horse and trying to.
hopefully slightly better tasting than a horse.
I wouldn't know, but yes, I'm assuming so.
So now you have just loads and loads and loads of cooking videos of all kinds. Your appetizer videos are really popular. What is one of the more strange cooking videos that you've done? Unusual?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, you know what? I did a contest. It was a few years back for Ballistic Barbecue.
Yeah.
It's a cooking channel, a huge channel. When I started YouTube, I remember I subscribed to his channel because I ran across a contest, and I entered it on the fly, and it was fun to kind of interact. And then I joined a bunch of new channels. Well, then he had another one a year or 2 later, and it was through a restaurant. The restaurant was going to judge it, and the restaurant was in San Diego, and they featured a lot of exotic burgers. Okay, so you were going to make a burger and be creative and all that, and I thought, oh, and I really thought long and hard about it, and I went out to the freezer and I said, I know what I'm going to do. And my husband had gotten a bighorn sheep about 6 years ago, and it was delicious, but we processed everything. Well, then he took a friend out and helped him on his hunt, and he gave him some meat. And so I'm excited. I'm going to make a bighorn sheep burger, right? And I thought nobody else is going to have that in their freezer. So anyways, I opened this package, and I could tell from the smell that I was not going to like it at all. I really had to doctor it, and it came out magnificent. My husband would not put it down. He goes, I can't even breathe. I've got to eat this thing all in one swoop. It really came out good. But I would say that was probably the most off the chart and off the spectrum. I don't know how good the video actually was because it's been a while, but it was fun.
That's too funny. So now, basically, and that's how most people, I think, come to find you first off, is all the different recipes. But now, a lot of canning videos too. I find that a lot of people are so freaked out and scared about canning if you've never done it before. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's something foreign. We've skipped a generation of people that know how to do stuff. What would you say to somebody who's considering, taking that next step and becoming, I think it's just a better way to live because you're saving money, you're putting stuff away, there's something on the shelf in case something happens. But what would you say to somebody who's going, man, that's a little freaky, it's a little different, I'm a little bit trepidatious?
I get that a lot, actually, and I get people commenting, oh, I want to do this so bad, but I'm too scared. But a lot of times they're scared of the pressure canning process because, the horror stories that grandma blew up the pressure canner and we had to buy a new house. I try to kind of squelch that a little bit and start them with something easy, jams and jellies, that kind of thing, and usually that'll get their interest going. And then if they taste home canned tomatoes or salsa, then they go, whoa, it tastes so much better. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think that's why I've done so many videos on it, because I want to make it look as easy as it really is and kind of guide people into it that way. I did run into a little gal that works at our Ross locally, and I was in there trying to exchange something, and so I'm waiting in line, and she looks over at me, and she's all, and I'm like, hi, and I look behind me first, and nobody's there, and so I'm like, hi. I'm like, she's really friendly, so she's helping someone. Well, she does it again, and then a register opens, and I walk past her register, and she goes, oh my gosh, I just have to tell you, you taught me how to can. And I'm
awesome.
Like, so cool. Gosh. Yeah, so it was really cool. She was probably in her 20s.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter-in-law, she cans because of me. And so, some of them are going to make that jump, and some of them never will. Right. And that's, it's just, I think it's good to have the information out there, though.
It's funny that you say that do you get noticed often out in the real world?
I wouldn't say often, and when it happens, it's very awkward for me. It's uncomfortable because you're like,
That is too funny, because the other day I was just going to Goodwill like we always do, because that's where we get the finest threads is Goodwill. And I was going in, and some lady goes, "You, I know you," and it was like. It was totally that, what?
I know, and then you don't know what you're supposed to say. You're like, oh, good.
I'm glad I just wasn't chewing my kid out,
Exactly.
So now, one of the things that I just saw recently, and I don't know how old the video is, but Zaycon Fresh, that blew me away.
I love
Give the 411 on Zaycon Fresh.
Zaycon, I started with them about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. I heard about it through YouTube, saw it, and I was like, what's that all about? And, checked into it. They took the middleman out, and they work directly. It's basically working directly with the companies and taking that middleman out of the game and getting the best price. So, when you sign up, it's free to sign up. They email you when there's an event, because they call them events. When there's an event in your area, and then like I just purchased, and you purchase way in advance. I made 2 purchases. One will be delivered in April, I'll pick it up, and one's in May. So you pick out the event that suits what you need. Yes, you purchase it, and then the day and time, you pick it up. And they email you when there's different stuff coming up, like they just, a while back, did ribeyes, which they've never had.
Yum.
I had to have ribeyes.
Yeah.
They're delicious. And they also, for people that do sign up, they have a referral program. And that's why I bring it up often. They have a referral program, and it used to be every time somebody would sign up, you don't get anything for them signing up under your referral. but when they purchase something, you got $1. And I thought, well, that's cool. I'll take $1 off next time I shop.
Yeah.
Well, it's ended up, I don't buy any meat anymore. I literally, my purchases are always free.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, what is your referral name so people can be referred?
Well, I think they have to go directly through the links that are on my Zaycon videos.
Okay,
Any of my videos has the link below,
okay.
and go click on that. But truly, I think the company's got a great thing going because they not only help you, but they say thank you to everybody. Everybody has that option. So if you guys are looking to buy stuff through Zaycon, you should definitely start referring people because you've got a huge family to feed.
Oh, yeah, no kidding there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me. I can't keep her off me.
Oh, gosh.
So now, question for you here. In terms, we talked off camera, just briefly, but Mama has a question from a channel that's a new channel.
It's a new channel.
Just So Trish.
Just So Trish.
And she heard that we were going to be chatting with you and flipped out. She's like, oh, you got to ask her this.
Yeah, so she wants to know how you make your meals for your husband, but how can you multiply that and make that camping meals? Sorry, camping meals, and how you make those for 8 people.
Or if you were,
if
you were.
Sorry.
Well, very often I do make them for the guys. So I try to portion it out, and I pretty much know when they're hunting and they're hungry when they get back. But and so I portion it out for big meals, more than enough. And usually for short camping trips, I'll put them in Ziploc bags with instructions on how to rehydrate it, because the dehydrated stuff is really easy. It's lightweight. And my husband likes to backpack up into the Ruby Mountains, which is, I think it's a 8-mile hike up this mountain.
That's serious.
And camps out with the bighorn sheep. And and they're up there. They pack everything on their back, like 70 pounds.
Wow.
So counts. So when I send it, I send big meals that they can share, but it's got to be lightweight. And then usually if they are super hungry, they'll go fishing.
Yeah.
There you go.
That
works.
So now I need to know when the Linda's Pantry, cookware is coming out. When do we get that from Walmart?
Boy, I wish. Wouldn't that be something? I don't think that I'm going to be discovered anytime soon for anything.
What? No, come on now. Well, even Guy Ferroni's got his knives or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he does.
Guy Ferroni, yeah. So, okay, now, question mark. Going forward in your YouTube channel, do you plan ahead? How do you make your videos? What do you do?
I do. I try to listen to who's commenting and what's trending. And I think the biggest thing I've found is you've got to mix it up every once in a while. They can't all be cooking videos. Oh, she's got another recipe. You know what I mean? Because they'll get bored with it. I know I do. I like to see something different. Ooh, let me go watch that. I haven't seen them do that. So I actually been asked a few times to do grocery hauls. And I'm like, nobody wants to see what I buy at the store.
That is not true. That is not true. People like those.
And I should listen to myself because I watch them all the time. I love them. So I did one, and then I go on YouTube the next day, and it says, it's got the most views of any of your videos in the last 6 months. Well, imagine that. So I think I try to plan stuff different throughout the week. Mm-hmm. I did try staying on a regular schedule, and that's super hard because life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah.
And they get notified when you upload if they've got their settings correct. So I think as long as you're consistent.
Yeah.
So now how often do you post? Do you post every day, every other day? How often?
About every other day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just throw out, that you have an ability for, hairstyling. That's something that we would probably have watched a lot just because, we just buzz my hair, but, but having that ability is a lot of people would save a lot of money.
Well, yeah, maybe.
But then again, I guess that's kind of hurting you on the other side of things too.
Well, the other part of that is this is how do I say it? Hairstyling. I have had people ask me, and I'm like, okay, the only person I can really demo is myself, because my clients at work probably wouldn't be okay with a tripod sitting there.
Gotcha. Yeah. You would have to get like a hair model or something.
I would, and I probably could, but I don't know. I wouldn't do my hair on video.
Now, it's really too bad that we're not closer, because then you could just do my hair.
No, we'll just give you our kids, line them up, and then you got like 20 videos.
Exactly. Yeah. So, no, I think that there's a whole niche for that. I just don't think it's me. And plus, I like the fact that I've got work, which I love.
Right.
And it's my relationship with my clients. And a lot of them cross over to the YouTube land. But then I have this whole thing that really started out as a hobby, and because I'm this obsessive compulsive person, once I learned, I go, I made 80 cents at this. The first month I made money.
It only took me 6 months to do it.
I was like, I'm going to make a lot of money. Anyways, it gets you focused on something and keeping your eye on the carrot, so to speak. And it's turned into a really pretty good part-time job.
Cool. Well, now as we're kind of getting ready to wind up, first of all, people, and I know you three out there. I know you three people out there who have not yet been to her channel, and you need to get there because it's only 3 of you.
Right.
It's the law of averages. Everyone has seen your channel, but for those 3 people, get over to Linda's Pantry. Check it out. You got to subscribe. You'll see. I got to tell you, we have learned
so much.
So much.
Yeah, just yeah.
I love the recent appetizers ones you just did. Those are awesome. I'm just like, man, that's such piddly work though. For me, I just want to like throw stuff in there it is. But so if you have not been to Linda's Pantry, do yourself a favor, pause this video, open up another tab, and go and subscribe right now. Well, folks, honestly, I'm going to give you the last words here, but thank you from us. We've really appreciated your videos over the years, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate so much, and thank you. I love your channel. I tune in every Sunday, and every time I see you upload, I'm on there watching. I'm not always able to comment because maybe my hands are chopping up something, but I watch them all. Now my husband recognizes your voice, and he goes, "Is that?"
I'm watching that idiot again, are you?
I go, "No, that's not Big Meat Sunday. That is Big Family Homestead." So
Sunday.
It's
nice.
Well, there is a channel named that, and he's heard me say that, and so I think he got it confused. But it is kind of fitting, huh?
Well, you know, I do say that I've been bulking up for football season.
For the last.
And part of it's your problem. You make these recipes, and then I gotta do it. So.
Well, this was fun, and I hope that I can send some people your way also, because I'm going to do a big announcement on my channel.
Amen. So, well, with that, I'm Christa.
And I'm Brad.
With the big Fat Meat Family Homestead, or whatever it is. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.